Hello everyone and welcome back to Rebel Brick. Today's the day. So, let's see, not yes, 2 days ago. Alright. So 2 days ago, I got the Ghost in the mail. So, I said it on one of my other videos. I was thinking the Ghost actually came out in October. I thought I thought the new sets were dropping in October. I knew the Ghost was actually going to be an Amazon exclusive. So I thought I had a little bit more time. I dropped the ball. I didn't realize it was September 1st. So after I found out, I got it ordered. We got it in. I'm going to show you here the boxes that it came in because, I mean, they really went out of their way. Uh-oh. I scared bunnies. I think they saw the box. Alright, so, of course, we've got the box itself that it came in. But then, Amazon, because this is an Amazon exclusive, they had it protected in one box, and then there's the big box that they had it shipped in. So I was really amazed to see how they packaged this to make sure it got to people. And of course, I suppose it really makes sense because there's a lot of people that they're saving the boxes. For collectors, they tear their stuff back apart, which I usually don't. Once I put these, like I've said before, once I put these models together, I usually keep them together. There's a couple sets I'll sit there and I'll modify, like our police station and stuff like that, some smaller sets, but most of the time, once they're together, especially with ships, they usually stay together. So as we look at all this, and I'm moving things around here so I can get in here a little better. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'm going to knock over the camera. This is the new one. They are really close to the same size. The differences start coming in initially. When you look at this is only 4 studs wide. This is actually 5. So that extra stud gets us a little bit more room, and this was built more for an interior. This one was not as built up for the interior, and I'll show you here in a little bit. But when we had gotten this one, we got just the Ghost, and then we got the Phantom and the Phantom 2 separately. And as you can see, I like the idea of the Phantom, probably because I love Star Trek as well. And the idea of having a ship or a secondary or even a third ship that you can kind of detach and launch for certain situations does make sense to me. The whole thing though is when we're looking at these are meant to be small ships. I mean, it's not like you look at Star Trek and they have these big ships and hundreds of people on them. And even in Star Wars, once you start getting to a certain size, they start having more ships. So that's where, the big differences come in. But I really love that idea. But I wanted to kind of show you the size differences between things and then the differences that I've noticed while I was putting everything together. So our canards, our extra front here, which I kind of call the canards here, they are different. These are wider. This is only 4 studs. Here we have 5. So that was a different build. Going through, why don't we just start with the Phantom 2, which I was surprised by how well that actually locks in, because before I had this piece on here, I'm trying to lock it in. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to lock in. This was only 1 bag. This was 13 bags for everything. But this was only 1 bag. So that's how small this is. I want to do this where everyone can see. So just in comparison to just the Phantom, before they lost that one. And then we take the Stealthipede, and this even has landing gear, which my youngest daughter was kind of confused with because I don't think she really remembered the show. And then there it is. So that was the original Phantom 2 that they had done. There is a significant size difference. I cannot put these onto the new Ghost. It will not fit on there. These are wider on the bottom for the base. I mean, we're 6 studs across, where this just gets down to 2. So, and we can only fit the pilot in there. I do not believe I have the pilot in there, because this is all the figures here, and I'm hoping that you guys can see it. Let me swing around so I know you guys can. That gets to be the hardest thing, trying to make sure I know you guys can see everything. So I'm going to angle this down a little bit more. Okay, so here we have the 5 figures that came with it. Of course, we have Hera. We have a Mon Calamari. We have a, I'm looking at his rank here. Ooh. Feel like a Lieutenant JG. Alright. Hera's son, and I do not remember his name. And then, of course, then we have Chopper. So that's our cast that we have in this set. Now in this one, and take this with a little bit of a grain of salt here, because this isn't just one set. This is actually 3 different sets. And I know that this isn't Chopper, but because I have so many R2s, and at this point I did have a number of Choppers, and of course this morning I'm digging around and I can't find Chopper. So to try and mix and match things, so I have a wider variety of droids, I put an R2 head on the Chopper base. Now we have Kanan. This is the Kanan that would have come with the set. And of course, when we had gotten the Phantom 2, then we had gotten this Kanan. This is after he had lost his sight. And of course, then we have Hera. We have Zeb, which I'm really kind of missing out of the whole series, because they had him in The Mandalorian. And of course, then we have Sabine. And then we have Ezra. So, you know, we have more figures, but this is out of more sets. Okay? I have another Ezra sitting in the other Phantom. I didn't think it was really worth having 2 of them out here, because you get the idea. So just out of our support craft, you can see the difference. So let me get this. I'll put the original Phantom on here. Get it docked in there correctly. Oh, come on. There we go. Alright. We'll get the Phantom docked on here. Here's the Phantom 2. And we'll get the Stealthopede out of here and all that. And, you know, I've got something rattling around. I'm thinking it's just... Nope. Haha. Alright, so I missed a figure. So we even have a troop area in the back. But we have Timothy Zahn's creation here with Grand Admiral Thrawn. So I think that's something that really needs to be, you know, kind of mentioned here. I mean, we look at it as, you know, this is the Star Wars Disney and all that, but Grand Admiral Thrawn came from a gentleman called Timothy Zahn. Timothy Zahn is the one that wrote him into the Star Wars universe. We have to give him credit. He really deserves it. He wrote a lot of key stories in the expanded universe that when we look at what Dave Filoni is doing, he's trying to bring Timothy Zahn's work into Disney Star Wars. So I'd love to give the writers a lot of the credit, you know, because I think they really deserve it. So I'm going to move the figures forward a little bit here, because I know I'm going to move the ships around. I'm on the back side here. That way we can kind of show everything, and I want to do this for both of them, because you know, this is going to be a little bit longer, I think, but I really want you guys to see this. So side by side, I'm going to move this bad boy out of the way just a little bit more, so we can really center on our new ship here. So we have the Phantom 2 docked. This whole piece comes up and out of there. So now we have what we did not have on this one. We actually have a usable crew area. So with that being said, this still flips up, so that's Hera's piloting area. Sabine's areas right down here, or the front gunner, whoever they're putting in there for that part. So that is still there. That's very reminiscent as to what we had, but we do have a lot more area here. Now this is where some differences come in, and I'm going to take this off because I'm going to flip this around here. If you're a fan of the original comic or the cartoon, okay, the cargo hold, your main entrance came in underneath your gunner's station, and then they had a small cargo area which had a tube, and then that went back to the main cargo area, which we never really saw in the cartoon. And then when we went into our docking ports, we had a ramp that slanted down, evened out, and then that's all this was. Now when we look at it, and I'm going to lift this up so you can hopefully see really well, we have our side entrances. So now we have side entrances on here, which we never had before, and when we look at this, we don't have anything reminiscent of that entry cargo area, which is how they got in and got out all the time. They never got in and out on the side. So in some regards, this is a different version of the ship to me, just because it's just the way my head works. I'm not going to take anything away from this because they gave us a wonderful area on the inside. And yes, if you can look in here, we do have like a sink area, storage spot. We do have a computer station. We have areas to move around. There's no bunk beds, there's no nothing like that in there like you would have had, because they actually had rooms that went off to the side here, but we don't have that. I mean, that would be a much bigger set than what they're giving us. I think that's the set that everyone would love. I had picked up a set, it was a mock build that should have had all that, and the frustration of trying to get parts together, I was stuck right here at the canards, and everything just kept falling apart on me all the time. I was frustrated. I gave up, and I don't think it'll ever go together. So when we look here, we have our gunner station here. This doesn't swing around in our original one because this all came out. That was just a separate piece, and you could sit someone in there, and you could swing that around. This doesn't do that. But because we are built in there, I mean, it kind of makes some sort of sense there. It gave us a lot of playability there. If you're looking at this as a set to have characters in there and so forth, that is really a beautiful thing. I'm not going to knock this set on that. It's just mainly because I remember where we started from, and this is where we are now. I don't want to take away. I'm just, this is just my point of view. The engines look really nice when we look at the engines here. And when you look at my other ones, because this is dusty, because this has been sitting in my workroom, we do have the engines here. They do look really nice. So, I'm still happy I got this. I'm not going to take away from that. This one, which this is what's been sitting on the shelf, and as you can see, there's all the dust here. This front cockpit area does snap in, and it does have a little glide in there, so you can get Sabine or whoever you're going to have for your front gunner in there. So it does snap in there again, and of course I'm backwards, so I'm trying to get this to line up. There it is, and it snaps. Now this one, that just pulls out. Similar concept, but that only is this. And then when we wanted to get Hera in here, then she had her spot right here. So, but this doesn't really come up. That's why we have this out here. Once I get them in there. And then for our other characters here, these pop out. Oh, come on. There it is. Trying to do this without trying to break anything, because I do that from time to time. So we just had kind of seats here, and on this one, this is where I had Kanan and I had Zeb sitting on the side there, so they were both in there. We have little notches here to try and help guide them in, so it does work. and this one's identical. So the reality is we got a much bigger ship to play with on the inside here than what we did on this. These just rocked a little bit. Sure, and then that's probably why it rocks, because I knocked it off. Alright, and then there we are. But when we look at the nose, you can see that we have what's reminiscent to our entryway, and that's what we had there. So those really come down to our bigger differences. But again, like I said, when we got this, it did not have the Phantom or the Phantom 2, where this one does. Really nice ships. I'm happy to have both. This one looks a little bit more hodgepodged in a way than what this one is. This one looks like it was a little bit more taken care of, but it also makes sense because in the expanding universe, when you look at Han and the Falcon, and the fact that he was trying to do so much work on the ship himself, and later on it had been kind of overhauled by the Alliance and then by the New Republic, because they were still in service and they were actually flying around a diplomat with Leia. So in that regard, they were getting proper treatment, having a lot better care than what Han could do when he's doing his adventures and everything else. So, you know, it does make a lot of sense. So I'm hoping that you enjoy seeing what we have here. They are good ships. The sides are a little different even. I mean, when you look at the sides, these are pieces that get put in there, but you look at how our docking stations are here, how they did a different look to them. So it does look really nice. I am very happy. For, like I said, for the playability, you have a lot more you can play with on the new one than what you did on the old one. The old one has other design features in there for the looks because of how they had it done in the cartoon. So I'm excited to see what they do in the new series. I agree, it's starting a little slow, but you know what? Sometimes series do that, right? You know, sometimes you have a movie that it just takes a while, but I will also say I've also watched plenty of Star Trek movies, and then there are a lot of movies where it's setting everything up for the next movie. It's like, okay, so this is the movie that sets up the whole action point for the next movie. So that's what I'm used to. It's not like it's something new to me. I don't remember how many different stickers we had on this one, because I have them here and I did want to show you. We do have two different sticker sheets. This one was primarily for this, although this front sticker right over our canopy was actually off of our main sticker sheet. And then all the other stickers, and I missed putting one on. And I know I was looking at that too. I was like, oh yeah, that's got to go here, and then I still slipped up. So I have to go through and put that sticker on here. But it is a very nice set. I think we could have some fun with it in our adventures here. It's not the ship I'm thinking of in our RPG, so we may come across it a couple times, because that's going to be part of what we're transitioning to, because my characters keep almost dying. We gotta do something a little bit better. All right. With that being said, thank you so very much for watching today. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful day, and keep bricking.